Yeah.
Hasn't played them perfectly either, but it starts with the draft, right? And this would be an upset, I would say, because of analyst predictions, but also kind of not, because we didn't know what the form of Hanwha was going to look like, and no one could have predicted this team was going to show up in this big of a way today, as well as have just completely strong drafting. I mean, it's not like they're a bad drafting team. So T1 has had some weaker drafts in best of fives this year, but this is Hanwha Life really just kind of running circles around them. So that needs to be, I think, step one. But the deeper you go in Fearless, the harder the drafting becomes.
Yeah, and this
is their last blue side game.
We said it at the beginning of the day, right? Like, I believe that HLE are a team that thrives as the picks get further and further choked, as you get deeper and deeper into a Fearless draft like this. So much of what makes HLE good or bad is just their form on the day. It barely matters the champions that they're playing. It's whether they can actually use them in coordination with one another. And right now, it looks like Dandy was right. You know, they did get their sleep. They certainly did. Up on the right side of the bed this morning. And Rumble and Talia both banned once again. These bans are exactly the same until now, as the Yone will be the first change instead of Yunara.
Not a real shocker. Because it is one of Zeka's best picks.
My goodness.
All right, with Wukong banned and Yunara up there, I think they have a plan. Like, they're baiting this.
They have to be.
It's a bait, and we'll see if T1 bite the hook as... I mean, it's such a strong pick. You have to take it or they'll get it, by the way. So, clearly Hanwha Life have an answer prepared, and I am very interested to see what that is going to be, because it's not Trundle. You know what I mean?
So far, like, Gumayusi has got his hands on the Yunara one time prior to this. It didn't look fantastic, but I think that the draft circumstances were a bit different to what we're seeing now. But what is going to be the answer? Because this is game 3. There's, you know, a lot of champions, 20 champions that have been Fearless banned, as well as the 6 that we have on top of that. The Xin Zhao, not necessarily an anti-Yunara pick here.
No, not yet. Nor is this. It can get on top of her, of course.
Also feels like a bit of a pick away from Doran as well.
Yeah, so this pick I like a lot more, because it's a blind pick in the top lane, but it's incredibly strong right now. Wins a lot of matchups. It also means that you can't just pick like Ornn here and sit on front to back as T1. They're going to go for the Jax instead, which has been a big pick for Zeus towards the latter half of the year here. One of the picks in one of the games we saw on this Jax against T1, in fact. I think it was in round 4. May have been round 5, one of their last matchups where he made such an impact. He didn't win the game, but it was like, wow, Zeus is really back in form. That was the moment we trusted that he was back. And the rest of his teammates seem to be back in form as well. So it's going to be a Rakan here for a little bit of lane sustain, decent engage, and peel.
This is a lot of power for T1 already, as this one does get locked in. We'll see what's going to augment the bottom lane. I imagine Faker probably going to just pick something away for himself. You could take a Victor here, theoretically. You can get a priority jungle as well if you don't want Owner's Pool to be pinched any further.
The question is, what is that pick going to be?
Yeah, it's a good point, because right now we're at the A to B tier, which is a lot of different champions. So maybe they just decide to take the next rung of mid lane or something like that instead as
counterpick for Doran.
So into the Jax.
I mean, anyone who voted for Doran for MVP that one finals, where he did play the Gragas into the Jax and top lane into this player in particular, might remember how good he is on this pick.
So you're saying Chronicler doesn't remember?
Any PAYS voters might not remember.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress. It's a bit of an inside joke here at the LCK is Alistair will be pushed up here in Prio, but we don't know what Viper's pick is going to be just yet. There's a lot of potential picks he could lock in. We saw the Smolder pulled out yesterday into this Yunara, and I don't think this draft really allows for that here for Hanwha Life Esports, especially with the Alistair pick that they did go for.
Yeah, maybe
a lot of mystery here so far.
The Smolder situation does kind of make me curious, because Ruler has obviously been, playing that in scrims, or maybe playing against it in scrims, and maybe they've been scrimming HLE. You never really know, as Victor is going to be banned away.
You called that one out earlier. I think it's very strong in this draft, especially now they have the Gragas. And Yunara is about as consistent of 80 damage as you're ever going to need, even with the Gragas top. So I think that's a wise choice here. It's also one of Faker's most comfortable picks. He's had a less than ideal series, I think, from his from what he'd like to say about it, as Corki will be removed. That's another strong pick into the Yunara for lane dominance. The Lucian is gone. Kalista Alistar kind of used to be a thing. I don't think that's really what Hanwha Life Esports are looking for here. And it starts to feel like maybe we could even potentially see something like a Varus in this draft. Just try to poke the Yunara out early.
Yeah, maybe getting something that can have a bit of early agency could be an answer, but it
so
is
far,
otherwise difficult.
I don't see the angle for leaving Yunara up for Hanwha yet. Like, I'm still waiting, because I think they have something. We're about to find out what they think is a great answer here. I can't predict it at the moment.
And they don't have that reliable of lockdown, right? Like,
exactly.
There's quite a few things that the Yunara can just get out of the way of and kind of be okay. A flanking Jax is always difficult to deal with, but it's not impossible.
I mean, Twisted Fate would be another way to lock her down, I suppose. This is it. This is the moment we find out what Viper and Zeka are playing here.
I expect this is going to be a Viper pick, and then we're going to get a counter pick for Zeka in the mid lane. That's what I'm assuming.
Exactly. So is it Varus? Is it something, another weird Viper pick, another hidden one?
This is, okay, this is kind of crazy, because I thought about this, and I'm like, he's not going to blind it. That would be insane. But instead, they protect their Alistar pick by taking away the Sylas.
Yes, that's right, and that's exactly what he's thinking with this one. I've been a big anti-Cassiopeia caster this whole second half of the year, but I think it actually goes really hard in this draft because it sets up well for the Yunara and can do very well into the Sylas. Obviously, he was a melee champion. A lot of power in this. Faker has a lot of agency on it. And this into Xin Zhao, I have more questions about. I have more questions about this one.
Well, I'm also...
And it's just going to be the Smolder.
Yep, the Smolder that you were expecting. Felt a little bit telegraphed here, but it's going to be the Little Dragon that will be trying to scale alongside the Yunara in this game.
This feels like, to me, a huge vote of lack of confidence in Gumayusi that they gave this up. They think they can play the Alistar's Smolder lane into this. Rakan is available. And they're just going to say, no, Zeka will carry later. He's got some good ults to steal. We've got a Xin Zhao Jax top side of the map. Got enough robust ways to get through this game. All we need is one dragon. We get to the late game Smolder scales. And it's just crazy the amount of power that you can have in this late game for Hanwha Life. But I have to say, like, if you take the nameplates off, if you take away T1's current form in this series, I like their draft way better. There's not a lot of great ways to kill Yunara. We know what Guma could do on scaling 80 carry picks. This T1 fan is trusted in the reverse sweep.
Yep.
Dagon's here. He's hoping both teams have fun. Well, that isn't happening so far.
And yes, and JoJo's right there saying HLE should probably win, as she's a big HLE fan.
One game away.
I just hope everyone has fun. Yeah, sure, Dagon. Okay, let's see how this one is going to go, because I think the most fun that these teams could have is 5 games worth of fun, right? Yeah. Because every game is a blessing, and let us hope that we are blessed with more games. Let's get on to the riff for Game 3.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the rift for game number 3. As already, we are having a bit of a ruckus here, as Doran could be out of position. Peanut going to move on over and greet him. Counter-Strike comes in, but that's a Gragas. I'm glad that we got a bit of an example as to why Gragas is picked into Jax in that moment right there.
Good example, yes.
Yes, we'll see whether that one does continue. Not really too much to come out of this, just a little bit of friendly slapping each other around.
I believe when Ruler played the Smolder yesterday, he played Press the Attack, and it is the safer fleet footwork variant for Viper this time around, which is much more common, much more standard. But maybe he's playing top lane.
Yeah, Viper's in the top lane.
So lane swaps are only detected by multiple members. If you just go it alone.
I mean, Jax is an AD champion that can carry. So...
Are we dragging the plates? Observers, are we dragging that Smolder plate?
Oh, no. Oh, God. And actually, it's Viper.
Way,
he's the king of the awesome dude meta.
So when you have fleet footwork in this matchup and you're just chilling, you're just stacking like a madman, and then you surprise T1 down here, they're very surprised. Do they care? Maybe not, but they're pretty shocked by the revelation.
Yeah, I also think that HLE are not going to be too shocked about the fact that they are melee.
So I have so many questions about, like, if you're Hanwha and you're up 2-0 in the series, why do you show this tech now when you have so many advantages and you're not pushed to the brink? I mean, maybe they're like, oh man, this series is easy. I guess we'll just test it now. But
maybe it's not even tech. Maybe they're just like, oh no, this would be fun. Let's just do it this way.
I guess maybe, yeah. It's not going to be a fun time for Doran, but it's also not going to be a fun time for Zeus in this bottom lane, nor will it be for this Alistar at level 1 who took exhaust, try to mitigate the pressure here on the Unsealed.
Yeah.
It's actually even going to make a pass to the mid lane.
Delight the old level 1 Alistar gank.
Exhaust.
As he gets the exhaust off, Zeka not going to quite find the chains. And I'm not going to quite find his name either.
This feels really practiced for Hanwha Life. Like the early game, they've got this plan. They put the exhaust on the cow. They say, Zeus, you've got Counter-Strike. You'll be fine. Just hang out under turret. Viper's going to win top side here. And to Doran's Grog, as I mentioned earlier, he's really good at this pick, especially into the Jax. He's not playing against Jax, though, in this early game.
And it's free stacking as well for the
Exactly.
Zelda, right?
He's
Because
just
he's
chilling.
melee. Like, he has to walk up.
Exactly.
That's kind of crazy.
Okay. It's also Zeus who, because he is Jax and can Counter-Strike, it's hard to kill him. It's hard to put big pressure on him. It's not going to farm that much, but neither is Doran. So kind of an equivalent exchange here of this. It's a Neo lane swapping. We brought it back. Hanwha Life Esports didn't expect this to be the team who had the strategy of the read on this. I would have expected this from a team like T1, for example, or maybe even like T+, but Hanwha Life wants to bring out this tech here. Top lane, Viper Smolder, as if doing a bajillion damage in games 1 and 2 wasn't enough. He's ready to do it again in game 3 with a free lane.
Yep, Zeka going to be able to chain up that minion, but does a lot of Twin Fang damage as Carrier looks for the angle but doesn't get it. And Faker is going to be overextended. Zeka takes a fair bit of damage, but dashes away. And back in again, as you otherwise would like to see, as HLE grab themselves first blood and a 500 gold lead in this early game.
When you're on match point in a series, again, I don't know if I still, like, if we're thinking about just what this means for playoffs, BO5s, going into Worlds, like, I don't know if I agree with the idea to show this, but if you're T1 and you're really like, oh my god, I've got a plan here, this is one of our best drafts in the series, I think it's definitely the best draft they've had in the series, right? And then suddenly you're like, I've never seen anything like this, like, what are they doing, what's the plan? It's a double Alistar gank on Faker in the mid lane now.
At level 1!
At level 1, and then he gets the follow-up gank, and you know, Peanut is there, you're like, well, I'm not even playing the draft I was designed to play. Like, I'm not even playing the game I was promised with this draft. And so it's good in that sense. It's definitely going to get into T1's heads a little bit here. It's a 400 gold lead early, but the lanes have swapped back, and now it is going to be a 2v2. The Vipers nearly hit that first breaking point of 25.
Yep, 21 stacks at the moment. As we're going to check out this gank once again.
Good bait from Zeka. Faker walks way too forward because he knows Carry is here. Unfortunately, Delight is also here.
Yeah, Pole Flash going to be able to lock him down and not able to get enough DPS onto Zeka there. Make that one work out. As T1 back into the lane that they kind of wanted. And this is going to feel a little bit better. Still, HLE with a slight advantage. But I think now that everything's kind of neutralized, we don't have River Cow anymore. It's just a 2v2 here towards his top side of the map, and we've got the Jax versus the Gragas. That should be how T1 find themselves in a much better position.
Yeah, and now that Viper has 25 plus stacks, he can farm a lot easier in this 2v2. He's not going to be winning the lane by any means, but he got the free stacks off of Doran. Was able to charge up off the Gragas, and now is going to be feeling much better than he was initially in the first parts of the 2v2 into this Yunara. And the Jax is now just landing into a Gragas, as was the original plan. T1 do have a lot of control over Dragon, however, on the bottom side of the map. Yep. It looks like they're just going to take that one away for free here.
First Dragon percentage for T1 has been at 100 so far this series. So it doesn't necessarily tell us the outcome of this game, but is never a bad thing. As Delight Hex flashing to get himself into a different brush. A little bit cute.
Yeah, a little bit of a scary moment here with Peanut lurking.
Missed Cannon.
That's unfortunate also.
Gumiushi missed a Slurkle though, so even.
We have not seen the Kiana pick work in the LCK, by the way, where it has been working incredibly well in the LPL. It's been tried in other regions, of course, with somewhat mixed results. I think part of the reason why Kiana is back in the meta is because Profane Hydra's cost went down massively with Axiom Mark, so you're basically minus 600 gold on getting those two items like you would have, or what you would have been previously before those buffs to the gold cost. So maybe if they brawl a lot, he hard farms. Like, he's already up 12 CS in the jungle. He's hard farming the jungle right now, and they keep brawling. We can have basically a Zeri moment on Yunara where they keep fighting before the Smolder is online, and this composition starts to steamroll. That's like the game plan here for T1. They got through the wonkiness early. Maybe Faker didn't, but it's not a big deficit. In fact, they're dead even in gold right now with the massive lead that Guma has in the bottom lane. So I still think this draft for T1 is scholastically better. I like the idea from Hanwha in the early game. They played it well, but they need to do more than just some tricky lane swapping in this one.
Yeah. Zeus is going to be able to get the better of Doran in this trade, as was able to hold on to the counter-strike. As, oh no, the cask is now on cooldown. Doran, bit of a misplay there, still going to hold on to his life, but not going to win out on that trade, and Zeus gets full control of this wave.
And it was pushing a little bit too. So many minions are going to go to the nether, or we'll just leave and Doran will get them for free, so never mind.
Yeah, it's just going to wander back as Zeka on the Miasma now. Miasma very annoying for the Silas to deal with. Large reason why the Cassiopeia is picked into him at this instance.
Yeah, it's a very good angle for the Cassiopeia in this draft.
Having a look at the Silas angle, though, as far as the ults that he has available, there are things like the Supreme Display of Talent that he can steal away. And that will be... like seeing those two ultimates come out on both sides in a team fight could make my brain explode while I'm trying to commentate it. We'll see how that one does go, but also is a very big tool that both these teams can utilize.
Looking for a flank here on the Grub fight.
Yeah, Peanut doing the same thing as well. As you can see, Zeka moving on in. Bit of a sneeze there from Viper, but there's the flash in. Ona finds that Supreme Display of Talent, and they take down Peanut immediately, but Mum gets angry, and it's a double kill for the Yunara as a result. Gumayushi angry and looking for even more, as the headbutt does get Guma away. That is a decent amount of damage there as well from the W, but otherwise not going to be too worried. Ult wears off, but man, T1 looking way better here in this game.
This is exactly how you want to use this comp fight early, because with Yunara, you don't necessarily want to do that, but when you have Kiana in your draft and you have a completely split Hanwha Life, because Hanwha Life are trying to collapse on two angles, you just pinch one side, blow them up, and then the Yunara gets 2 kills in this exchange. I'll certify it. I'm not if I want to make Yunara moment a thing, but in this game it is, because this is exactly what I was talking about. This type of early skirmishing that we see in the LPL all the time, we see less often in the LCK, where it's a split team, and then the 4-man collapses on the right side, 2 kills instantly, and then Viper does have to leave, and the arc hits here for Guma. He wants more. Not going to be able to get anything further, but gets a huge chunk out of Viper and Delight's health. And this Yunara is already starting to come online early. Profane Hydra, built here first. First item spike goes for the Kiana early. This is the exact type of thing I'm talking about. We see in the LPL, you build it up, you start to snowball the game. And in the LCK, we often just have fights that are decided by pure CC, or almost, frankly, fights that are decided before they even start by who has the better setup. And T1 had the better setup here, but they turned it into a very quick skirmish. The ult comes out from owners so incredibly quickly, there's just no time to react for Hanwha on the collapse, the attempted collapse. And the Smolder just isn't going to have as much value as Yunara early in these team fights, especially when one person is just deleted instantly.
This is looking a little bit rough now for HLE. Having a look at the number on the top of your screen, 1.7k isn't end of the world. The problem is the flow-on effects, right, that you can pick up. Double Dragon, pretty likely here for T1. You mentioned the item spikes. We do have Peanut completing his Sundered Sky, but Ona looking for a bit of an angle, misses the ulti.
So close.
Yeah.
That was a really scary moment there for Zeka. He's able to get out, but...
Still getting his flash, going to be a big deal.
Using the wall there of the river entrance to set up the ultimate is quite tricky. And well prepared, well planned by owner there, but still, flash is all they get, but they'll be very happy with it, especially considering the lead they already have. Second Dragon is also just straight up theirs, I think, in this situation.
Yep, Guma is going to rotate over. Viper dealing with the wave for now, as Wind Becomes Lightning does connect onto Carrier. Slurkle does not, but that is going to be the Drake secured. And T1 going to get 2 of them. First Chemtech Soul of the weekend, I'm pretty sure, is going to grace us with its presence. So
yeah, a little bit
mega
less,
cone angles.
Less Hextech Soul today.
Yeah,
finally.
Yesterday, what was it, like 3 in a row?
Yeah, I think we've had way too many in playoffs in general.
It's been pretty ridiculous.
Zeka was not there in that last fight, so it was just a freebie because he had a flash, he had a back. And T1 are just like, yeah, if you want to try to come over here and try to make something out of this bottom side, probably good luck with that. As even Peanut is struggling here to find Faker, gets the connection.
Yep, Owner is going to move on over though. Great knockup comes in. Peanut still in a bit of trouble though, as there is a brilliant ultimate from Zeka, and Mum even picks up a kill. 2 freebies here for HLE, and they are on the board, even picking up the feats of warfare.
Peanut's ultimate there is so high value. There's just not really much you could do in this moment as Faker and Owner in this situation. And like you say, Viper, long range, able to get the snipe there, grabs the kill, puts a dent in that gold deficit.
Yeah, exactly. Also getting some plate money here as well as Gumayusi going aggressive. Flap from Viper trying to get out. Does have to flash in the end. And with the quickness, it is just too hard for Delight to peel effectively.
Yeah, he does lose his ultimate as well in the defense. Wants out his cannon.
Yep. Sneeze comes down, Slurkle not able to punish just yet. Running out of the blue stuff here is Gumayusi, but he is still a threat as they look to grab another plate for themselves. They should be able to do so. 3 Grub's going to be helping out there as Viper clears out that wave. We're going to have a look at this one from Zeka's perspective, hijacking this petrifying gaze.
Yeah, and then Peanut's ultimate here means that there's just nothing they could do to him. The ultimate is phenomenal from Zeka. He said, very good. Yeah, I really like that. He was very impressed with it. And like, this is a comfort pick for Zeka, by the way. We haven't talked about it that much. If you think back to the DRX days, like, this guy has done mad work on Silas. Says, oh, that's a good cask.
Oh, not quite able to get in range of the turret, though, unfortunately, so couldn't get that extra bit of damage onto Zeus. Doran is going for, like, more of a bruiser AP Gragas type build, not going to be full tank or anything like that. So we'll still be doing some relevant damage in this game. Does mean that T1 are going to have threats kind of everywhere.
Yeah, it is a multi-threat comp that's designed to kill Viper, to get past the front line here of Hanwha Life Esports. And even if you get Viper out of the fight, then the Yunara cleans up front to back. So just so many really great tools in this comp for T1. Of the 3 we've seen, like, it, you know, I don't want to harp on it too much, but this feels like a real strong T1 draft here. Hanwha Life Esports took a lot of liberties, took a lot of risks, and they are not paying off as well as they could, as this Yunara is so incredibly ahead in gold. But yeah, Viper is playing Smolder, and sometimes gold means less than stacks. And he's actually about to hit 125 here at like 14.5 minutes. Viper has been known to be our fastest stacking Smolder player since release, and that is going to hold true here. A little bit cheating in this game because he landed against a Gragas at the beginning, but there's 118 on your screen right there. He's about to hit 125.
Yeah, getting very, very close. And then, of course, once that next breakpoint, oftentimes if we, okay, never mind, bit of a steal away here on the quickness from Zeka. In goes Peanut, finding some decent damage onto Carrier. And Delight was waiting in the wings, but they don't quite find the angle. Mega Cone is going to be here if they really do want to attempt something, but not going to be the case just yet. Viper just goes back to this wave, Essence Reaper in hand, sneezes towards Gumayusi, but is not able to actually find that just yet. And there is that 125 that he does manage to lock down. Rift Herald.
And this Qiyana is so strong right now on objectives when you have any sort of control. And with the accelerated Yunara here, it's just so hard for Hanwha Life Esports to even like show up to a Herald fight right now. They just want to sit back and scale and stack. Yeah, Hanwha just need a Dragon, and then they're going to be feeling like, okay, well, at least we'll get our Smolder stacks online. 50 seconds until that spawns, so instead of trying to take a horrible fight into this Fed Yunara and extremely accelerated Qiyana, well, I mean, I don't even know, that's not even true. She's just really strong at this point. She's not accelerated. She's hitting the normal breakpoints, which is she's stronger in skirmishes than the Xinjiao is this setup. They're going to put their value in this bottom side control on the Dragon, but unfortunately, because T1 get this Herald for free and get it so quickly, they can now come over and contest for Dragon, and if T1 gets soul point on this, now Hanwha Life Esports don't have that many other time-buying tools, and Chemtech Dragon actually still incredibly strong in this composition.
Yeah, it is. I think it's actually pretty strong for both of these teams, especially Gragas is going to absolutely love it. But Zeus will have a fair bit more longevity utilizing that as he sticks around in fights, and Silas abuses it pretty well.
Yeah. Even Yunara's going to love it if she goes low. She's going to do so much more in those late fights, too.
It's a good point.
No one can lock her down.
Well, Slurkle comes in. Peanut could be in a little bit of trouble as Gumayusi. Pretty scary, the amount of damage he's able to do on 1.5 items. Redemption is done here as well.
Hanwha Life have to make a tough call here. Do they just try to give this up and get Jax a turret, or do they try to force a fight? I think you cannot win a fight here, and they are going to make that call. You know, it's just stacking Smolder here in the mid lane. He's just going to wait for every Q opportunity on these waves. Even going to go over to the Raptors now. But
yeah.
T1 are just going to take this Herald and crash it into the mid turret. They're like, well, if you're just going to give it up, we'll get more.
Yeah, Peanut opts in for the knock-up there as well, but is actually going to be okay as the Rift Herald not quite able to take down the turret, but is getting very, very close to doing so. And HLE giving up Soul Point in trade for some stacks. I think, like, you can understand they're putting their trust into what this little dragon can do later in the game, but that is a little bit of a worry. And Zeka, with a cask in hand, is looking to see what he can do here underneath this turret. Everyone's making their way over, though, as Ona gets in. Fair bit of damage down onto Delight, as the barrel is going to come on through for the disengage. Redemption gets the health back into the cattle. They should be okay.
We have talked so much about the growth of teams like B&K. D+ is kind of recent glow up as well, but KT Rolster dominating the conversation yesterday. But Hanwha Life, even though they're really far behind in this game, the 3 dragons down, this draft is insanely risky. Old Hanwha Life just send it on that dragon.
Yeah, they
And
do.
even though I think it's not a positive outcome, I think it's the right call to just say, leave the Jacks up there, get some Smolder stacks from Viper. We can't win this fight. If they lose that fight, I think the game is lost 100%. And Hanwha Life being a lot more measured than they normally would. It's a 700 gold lead, right? It's not the end of the world. It's a really bad game state for them, but if they can survive, this game is still playable as long as they don't get wiped, as long as they don't give T1 that amazing Yunara fight they're looking for. They gave him one on the top side of the map, and that was a great setup from Owner. But they're not going to do that. It doesn't look like they're going to make that same mistake twice. As Viper's getting very close now, 175. And once you hit 125, you just start stacking so quickly, as you can see here.
And you also have pretty ridiculous wave clear. So you saw that that turret went down extraordinarily low, but they weren't able to take it. And so now it's going to mean that Zeka can lock down that first turret here towards the bottom side of the map. Feeds the strength. Going over to HLE.
I mean, they had threat in all 3 lanes for turret. Viper gets away with so much damage with the wave clear mid. Zeus was pressuring that top turret, and then the bottom turret just goes over to Zeka with no answer from Faker. He's too late to catch that wave. And so they get feats of strength. They actually minimize the gold lead even further.
They do have to be really careful, though. Soul Point is a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a big sacrifice that they have made, but could be worse.
I think that it's very unlikely that Viper will hit the breaking point before then. I mean, it is kind of possible if like T1 members stack up and he hits a bunch of Qs on them. But if he can slow down the Dragon fight or pressure with Jax and get a bunch of value elsewhere and force T1 back, maybe there's a world where they can slow it down. But I think the Chemtech Soul is probably lost, right? I think Hanwha Life will not be ready to fight just yet at that point. But if they can win every other fight, namely the first Elder and the subsequent Baron and Otacon fights, then they feel like the gamble has paid off. And so for T1, you need to lock down all of these objectives. You need to be ready to fight. You need to be trying to force Hanwha to fight at every single turn. You have to be proactive. You can't just sit on this 1,000 gold lead and fed Yunara and say, well, it's a freebie, because it gets harder from here.
Yeah. That is Rapid Fire Cannon done, so 2 items each for both of our 80 carries in this game.
And they're just going to start this Otacon right away. I think this is 100% the right call for T1 because Hanwha Life do not have an easy answer.
Yeah, they are not in position. However, Zeus is doing a decent amount of work towards Doran here. Peanut moving in, Faker off to the side. Petrifying Gaze in hand. This ward getting them a lot of information, though, as the teleport to come through from the Gragas. Same thing to be said for the Jacks, though, as they make their way down. I just don't know whether HLE can get here in time. As Peanut's going to flash forward, it is going to be secured by Ona, though. But look at the damage from Viper. Gumayushi also starting to pop up, but he's taking so much on the back end. And HLE still staying amongst it. Faker now fighting them by himself. And Zeka keeps himself alive, still flashes away from Carrier there. And T1, they take the Otacon, but they lose the fight.
And now Viper's going to have stacks for the Chemtech Soul. He actually will. He got so many in that fight. And off the last wave, he's just going to take this bottom wave. He's going to hit 225. This is a huge turning point in this game. Even though T1 secure the Otacon, it's such heavy risk here.
Oh my god,
look at the
value.
setup. And Delight gets in here. Look at how much damage goes on to Guma in this exchange. He takes so much damage there from Viper on that final Q. He actually just can't be in the fight anymore. And when Yunara is split like this, then you can just isolate Faker, take him out, and look for the turn. Carrier going in here, extremely greedy, looking for the snipe onto the Silas there, onto Zeka. Is unable to get him, does get away, But this is a huge turning point potentially because now Hanwha Life Esports can fight. Now this soul fight is not just an imagination, it's a real possibility. 225 for Viper as it spawns.
And he has flash. And Gumayushi is not so lucky. No summoner spells. 5 seconds until his ulti's up. And so he will have that for the extra damage. But Peanut looking for a fight before that even happens. Quickness, very, very close to being up. Supreme display of talent is going to be there. Petrifying Gaze as well. But this feeling like make or break. As Zeus off to the side, looking for a bit of an angle. Zeka as well, wanting that pincer maneuver. 227 stacks, as you mentioned. Well, Viper is in position as far as that passive is concerned.
Angle here for Zeka is pretty huge too.
Yep, Mom could get pretty angry as well as Zeus goes in. There's Mom down as well, so much AoE damage, but it's the Zinzao that goes down first. Petrifying Gaze is phenomenal, and T1 stand their ground. Viper is the last man standing, and can he actually get anything done is the question. The rapid fire cannon giving him a fair bit of power, but Ona, he has the smite, and it's stolen!
He steals it and kills
oh
him!
My god, he flashes forward. Gumayushi down so incredibly low. Faker does finish him off, but Viper may have just saved the game.
Viper almost just 1v3'd Atlas. But they actually have a little bit of health here on Guma and a wave. They might be able to push this inner, but that is all that T1 are going to get. They don't get the soul. Viper likely saving the game here as Zeka has this flank angle right with Zeus. The collapse seems incredible, but look at Faker's positioning. Look who's not caught here in the initial salvo. He actually goes over, even with the charm, is able to set up a massive ultimate here. They wipe the floor with the rest of Hanwha Life Esports, and then Viper is the little dragon that could here, looking to set up some Qs onto these members and burn them down. It's a really cautious play here that T1 have to play. But look at this smite. Oh my god. Actually, I cannot even believe it that happened.
I can't either. I feel like I don't know.
One tick away from killing Guma as well. Like,
yeah.
It was actually so incredibly close. Viper is playing out of his mind right now, and Hanwha Life Esports with these drafts, by the way, have just said, like, it hasn't been on social media yet, but we've officially renamed the Viper Life Esports.
Yeah.
It's been a nickname for a while, but I think they're thinking about calling it maybe, I don't know, Hanwha has to be in the name somehow, but they were still workshopping at Atlas.
Yeah, we'll figure out a way.
And Viper is 4 kills in this game now. He has his stacks, and it's just going to get stronger and stronger and stronger.
And the certifications that need to be delivered here is, I mean, the Yunara got a certification pretty early. I feel like the Smolder is going to get there as well, as he's just continuing to put stack after stack into this champion. 268 now.
I mean, he's going to be able to output so much more damage than the Yunara if the conditions are met. And then that last fight with the flank from Zeka and the stolen Rakan ultimate, the gaze was amazing for Faker, but Viper was, all the space was bought for him to have that 1v3 moment. Things go a little bit better, and it's not a 1v3. That fight just goes the way of Hanwha Life, and they get an easy cleanup. And see what it, like, in the most ultimate hard mode, what Viper was able to do, imagine on even footing what he's capable of now.
Yeah, that's the ridiculous thing. And the fact that they do buy themselves a little bit of extra time by taking away that dragon is an important one. But now Baron's on the map.
T1 have this angle here to potentially start this up and force Hanwha Life over and look for a turn, but it's not the same lead T1 had before. The gold lead, bigger, but this Smolder is online, and that's just very difficult to quantify in terms of gold. It's really just about protecting this Yunara. Guma has to pop off. He hasn't died yet in this game, and that's going to have to continue in this next fight if T1 are going to either start this Baron or force a fight around it. There's still not a lot of great tools to kill this Yunara. Viper's going to need a lot of time in order to do that, or a lot of insane plays from Zeus and Peanut, who are really the best ones who can get on top of Gumayushi in this game. He has Ghost and Flash available, his ult, of course.
Yeah. And he also has Infinity Edge. Yeah. Viper doesn't have that one yet. He might be able to get it on this back.
I think he is.
That's incredibly important if he does do so. And as we can see, there it is.
Oh, okay. Delay on the UI. He did get it.
Yep. So going to be able to pick up that IE pivotal item, and we'll be able to get back before this Baron is started. T1 with so much vision around this area, though.
This is such an incredibly close game.
It is. And you might be looking at it and you're like, oh, but guys, like 2.7K, Soul Point, Articon, T1 have so many things. It's just so hard to quantify a Smolder. We saw it in that last fight, the fight prior. Mom does so much damage, and now these Qs are just going to be cutting them up. He's already done the most damage in the game.
Yeah.
And that is only going to get worse, or better, if you're an HLE fan. So T1, it is an uphill battle, but I feel like in this game, T1 actually has a way to win.
Yes, no, I mean, look, Faker has the arm guard. It hasn't been broken. He has that extra ability to survive any engages onto him, because he is going to be much more up into the front line than Guma is. He had a phenomenal team fight there on the Dragon just moments ago. Obviously still not enough to cleanly take Viper out, but enough to win the front part of the fight and empower Guma there in the end. But like, they have a lot of great tools. The build here for the Gragas, who also has arm guard, is phenomenal. Kiana has a game-warping ultimate that, if set up in the correct way, if T1 can maintain this vision control and prio for this next Dragon fight, 100% winnable. Like, T1 could actually win the game with a clean ace right here, right now. But again, there's so many tools. There's so much frontline here for Hanwha Life to set up for Viper. And really, this team fight's going to be about how many Qs does Viper hit? How many does he get off? If the answer is like more than 8, we know the answer to who wins the fight.
That's going to be a long fight. That does indeed happen. Slurkle going to connect as we've got a few skill shots going a little bit wide. You can see Ona trying to find some moments here. Teleport in from Zeus, though, as we've got another fight for another soul. And let's see how this one's going to go. Viper finding one there as Peanut goes in, looking for a bit of an angle. Delight in a lot of trouble. Has to use the ulti, but the cask doesn't do anything. Doran goes golden. Viper is relatively safe at this point, but you can see T1 still going for it. But both solo lanes are dead. The Yunara is popped like a balloon, and Peanut just puts a spear into the back of Carrier, and it's only Ona left alive. HLE, I think they're poised to get a 3-0 against T1 here today. That was real cute from Ona. So it may not be an ace, but it's still probably going to be a Baron.
I mean, he does not have flash, and I do not think he's going to be looking for a steal as Zeus is trying to end this mid turret. He is coming over here. See if he can make something of this with no real...
They have vision.
Yeah.
Okay, here's Viper is just getting
That was not even okay to laugh about this one.
That was extremely anticlimactic. Oh, God.
It's not okay, but it did happen, and this Smolder has 7 kills, and we warned you. He's online. Look at this fight. I didn't count the Qs, but he gets a lot.
And the sidestep from the cask as well. If he's tagged by that, he might be dead.
He gets hit by the Kiana ultimate, but there's no follow-up. Faker is dead, and it's just front to back from here. Just too many threats to get on top of Guma while Viper just layers damage in. Like, the Silas pick does so much work here in this draft, and I thought with the lead T1, oh, don't do it. So, flap, 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 goodbye. Well, like, what the lead T1 had, they're supposed to have in this draft, and the massive lead that the Yunara had, I thought, surely this Smolder won't get online, but he's able to weather the storm, and now Hanwha Life looking for a 3-0.
Yep. Doran trying to get away here. He will be able to do so.
And it's technically an upset, right? Like, most analysts predicted T1.
I mean, it's technically not an upset, right? Because HLE was second place. They have the highest seeding in this game. So technically, not an upset. But in actual fact, from what we've seen from the form of these two teams in recent memory, it's an upset.
I mean, it's analyst prediction upset, but at the end of the day, Hanwha Life showing up and 3-0ing, not one person thought that outcome was possible. Not one person thought it was even close to possible.
It's exactly the same as Road to MSI, but the other way around.
Exactly.
And that was not what it wasn't on my bingo card, not today, as the stolen cask is going to deliver to Doran. Not exactly the ideal target, as Mum comes down, doesn't get a whole lot of value, but I just don't know whether it matters. Faker off to the side, just getting pulverized by all of these HLE members, and yells into the abyss, doesn't find a target with the ulti. And the rest of T1, not a whole lot of options. Oh, Zeka, at least, yeah, no, that was Peanut that died. Zeka goes down extraordinarily low, so does Zeus. But Viper, he is still at full health with a GA. And Zeka dives forward, avoids everything. Gumayushi gets charmed up and eviscerated. And HLE will march into the base, take down the Nexus, and they will be going further. Like, we don't have T1, we don't have Gen G, we have KT and HLE in the upper bracket.
That is exactly what we have, and Hanwha Life Esports, Viper Life Esports tonight, crushing them 3-0, but sure, Viper did the big damage numbers in all 3 games. He had the incredible 50,000 Lucian game, and then back-to-back insane performances on Ziggs and Smolder, scaling picks to be sure. But you said it was kind of like the reverse of Road to MSI. Well, HLE call this best of 5 Road to Worlds, as they will be joining Gen G there with this 3-0 victory.
And KT. So we have no T1 yet, and 3 teams locked in for Worlds.
And when you look at the performances of all the Hanwha players, Zeka has been quite absent until today. We've seen Peanut be almost a detriment oftentimes until today. This team firing on all cylinders, playing through Viper in draft, a risky draft in game 3, but they trust him. They trust the teamwork that is required to get this Smolder off the ground. We didn't see Ruler find success with it yesterday, but it will be Viper and Hanwha Life who do it here today, and the Kiana win rate remains 0.
Yeah, that pick, not necessarily finding the same value as we've seen on this particular continent. But we'll see whether it does remain at that, or whether further on in this tournament we are still going to see players trying to pick it up. Because honestly, HLE were just the better team in kind of every way today. That's what it kind of looked like.
I feel kind of robbed, because I thought maybe we get the 5-game series that most people predicted, the 5 games that we all wanted. And I think T1 fans obviously really wanted, but even as Hanwha fans and some of the Hanwha predictors probably wanted to see a little bit more. And in T1's 3rd game here, we saw the most T1, we saw the whole series, but it just still felt like a stomp in the end. Once the Smolder got online, there was just nothing in it.
Yeah.
And Hanwha, like I said, even though I feel robbed, I feel also good, because I feel like we have this new challenger again here in the LCK playoffs.
Yeah, and the thing I love about it is it's incredible levels of play that have delivered both Viper and BDD to Worlds once again. And I've just been, the whole weekend, I've just been thinking back to Gen G versus EDG 2021 in that semifinal, where these two players played some of the best League of Legends they ever have. We caught glimpses of that here today. We actually had a whole series of it, of BDD and Viper, one after the other.
Wouldn't it be exciting if they were about to play a best of 5 against each other here in
That would be so cool. Do you think we could get one of those, Wolf?
I would personally really be happy if we would.
Well, let's see whether that is going to be able to deliver on the level that I'm hoping. It might be a little bit too much, but right now with the form that they're in, it is looking possible. But HLE having a little bit of a listen as they close this game out. Just the biggest little dragon that I have ever
So much
seen.
damage done here. I thought for 1 second, like if Guma gets healed up, maybe he could actually make something happen. Like everyone is so low, but you know, HLE had other plans.
Yeah, their plans involved a full health Smolder.
It's a Rakan. It's a Rakan stolen ultimate here from Silas, but he doesn't even need it because he hits chains on Gutman and kills him anyways. Oh, and you can see there's a lot of hype here for Hanwha Life, but I think not as much as it would have been if it was a hard-fought series. This is a very different reaction than the KT coaching booth upset win yesterday, where no one trusted, no one believed. But after the 2-0 start, Hanwha Life even kind of experimented in the game 3 draft and then still came out on top. This was a very dominant series. I would argue the most dominant we've had since play-in started.
Absolutely. I mean, we haven't had very many 3-0s here since the play-ins began.
Only the 3-0 with the D plus Gia, right? I think that's the only one.
Yep, so it wasn't actually possible, as this is the most no-brainer POM that we have ever got, I am pretty sure. I want to see the average damage. Did we calculate what he did on Smolder, because we were at 45?
I actually didn't see what number he did. If the post-game graphic came up, I was too hyped in the narrative and in the moment. I didn't see Atlas, but maybe the space has data on it, or we'll look it up later. But it was a lot. I can tell you it was about a lot.
He did do big number.
Yes.
Big number do go boom boom.
Boom boom.
Yes, absolutely. As we will also have a space interview with Zeus, which is extraordinarily cool. So Valdez will be able to have a chat to him, as you can see there, with the cute little lower third that we have. I don't know how to process this, as we are going to see the bottom lane make their way out with Unbin ready for this interview. But I mean, were HLE just kind of chilling during rounds 3 to 5?
Little
knowing that
sandbagging?
They were going to get to playoffs anyway, most likely, so you may as well chill and go for more overly aggressive plays and then just lock in.
Yeah, just casually barely get second place and then actually start playing for real.
Yeah, I'm sure that that's definitely not what happened. However, if there is a good time to hit your stride, now's pretty good. Pretty good time to do that.
Pretty solid.
Yeah.
Peanut getting another chance at Worlds. I mean, the narratives just keep giving. KT's incredible run yesterday. T1 now in this position where they hit the hardship right before they spike and go to Worlds potentially, like they did the last 2 years. Who knows what we've got left in store?
Yeah, it's actually kind of ridiculous. But now it is time for us to throw it over to that interview with the bottom lane of HLE.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Sierra for the post-match interview translation, joined by Viper, the POM, and Delight on the side of Hana Life Esports. With today's win against T1, you've earned so much. You're going to the finals qualifier and secured minimum 3rd seed of Worlds. So how do you feel? Honestly, it feels amazing, and just getting a revenge against the opponent that we have lost against in the previously, it feels even more amazing. And aside from Viper, Delight, you had an incredible showing as well, and many predicted a 5-game series today, so what were your own predictions? Before the match started, I had already mentioned that if we win game 1, that we would be able to win today, so that was pretty much spot on. So what gave you the edge to take a 3-0 sweep today? I think we had prepped our own setup in the game that actually made the game a lot smoother. And you had roughly 2 weeks of preparation before returning to stage. So to maintain your rhythm, how did you guys prepare? You know, we played the game very diligently. And during the practice for the playoffs, we had prepared a bunch of different draft strategies and just communication between the teammates. I think that really paid off. And Delight. In game 1, Hana Life Esports quickly took our Orianna, and it actually kind of felt like you guys stole the enemy mid signature pick. So, how far ahead were you thinking in terms of the draft? Since it's a best of 5, it's really good to sort of deny a lot of the enemy's picks. But I think our mid player has a pretty deep champion pool, so I think we were able to play around with that. And in game 1, Viper, your Lucian just didn't die. And it looks like even if the enemy would engage first, you would hit back harder. Yeah, honestly, I noticed that the enemy was trying to dive me a lot, and my teammates were supporting me, and that's why I survived a lot. And I think I was able to stay focused with the help of my teammates. And Viper, in game 2, as your R5 pick, it was Ziggs, and your Ambessa Vi Ziggs synergy was crazy. So what went into developing this comp? You know, it's just the current meta. Whenever you see Ziggs in a match, you can tell how good he is. So I think that's just something that you have to make sure that you know how to play and practice. So I think today we had a really good angle to play him, so it actually paid off. And in game 3, so and in game 2, your rel was exceptional. So what do you think the bot matchup was like? Yeah, I think our bot synergy was really important. So what do you think the rel's role was, Viper? Honestly, Delight is really good at playing rel. And I knew that he would do his job right. And in game, how I felt, I can't really spill everything, but I think he played even better than what we had prepared today. And in game 3, you opened Yunara and took Smolder, and you guys immediately sent the Smolder top. So what was the game plan here? You know, first of all, I think draft-wise, against Yunara, during the preparation time, I think this is definitely a counter that I've been working on. And this is why we were able to proactively use this pick. And as in terms of the lane swap, I cannot share too much details. We understand, and it looks like you played Alistair with the Smolder. So how did that feel? You know, I had to create an environment for the Smolder to really scale and grow. And Viper, in the end, he actually was the one who turned everything around during the Drake fight. So I think I did my job. And yeah, you denied the enemy's Dragon Soul in Game 3. Let's take a look at this replay. Can you walk us through what happened here? I think we were looking for the Gragas at first. And, you know, before I realized I was the only survivor and I was trying to kite. And the enemies moving actually gave off that they didn't have smite. So they weren't able to take the Drake. And I think I was just trying to really just skirmish as best as I can. And I ended up taking the dragon. And so how did your team react? No, Pina was the one who actually made sure that he did the spell check and he actually mentioned that Smite was down. And I think we were able to create such a nice highlight off of that. It was really the teamwork. And now you will be against KT Roaster in the upper round 3 with the finals on the line. So what mindset will you play against KT? You know, KT is an extremely strong team and their bot lane have been doing really well, so we will have to prepare well. And I hope that we are even more prepared to make it to the finals and be the first to reach there. And your good luck charm of the day, Delight, your mom is on site. Would you like to say anything? You know, hard work. Thank you so much for coming here. I hope you have a good night and a safe way back home. And anything you would like to say to your fans? Honestly, thank you so much for your continued support. I hope that we can keep this up. And that's the end of the interview with Viper and Delight, and back to the space. Thank you.